This episode is brought to you by Trailer Park Yard Games, where over 28 games are delivered directly to your party. We park the trailer, you party. I mean, that's really what it's about. A lot of people say, I want my community to be better, but then they don't do anything. Mm-hmm. This is your chance.
Yeah. Or they complain about their community not getting better and they're not doing anything to make it better.
Let's get kids
just say
off of their phones.
Did I literally just said that.
Hey, sometimes you gotta reiterate it. I mean, honestly.
I looked at Tom like, wait, that sounded like an echo.
I almost repeated it.
Yeah.
You gotta get the point.
Or, like, your community's not doing anything, and so you gotta do something, right? I'm just kidding.
If you guys didn't hear, if you're complaining about your community and you're not doing anything,
yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Let's have a chat, talk this and that with PB and Jaisy.
Hello, welcome to the PB and Jaisy podcast. My name is Jaisy. I'm joined with...
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Bill.
Yes, thank you guys for being here and being on this podcast.
Oh yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks for letting us be
I'm
here
really
this
glad
week.
that
It's
you
first
guys
time ever.
have decided to just keep coming back. So I want to tell you guys about something kind of funny. I don't know if you guys were involved in like student council or stuff like that when you were in.
I ran, but I didn't get voted, so I was kind of.
So I was a nerd. I wasn't.
You were not a nerd?
He was on the chess team.
So I was such a nerd. So I was in student council, I was in honor society, I was in like Latin club, like math elite, I was in all the things. So for student council, you would have to do certain volunteer things, which was like giving back to the community. And, I would just want to go and just talk to people and not really do so much of the work. So I would go and play, talk to people and just, get to know people. And then every time like a teacher or someone would come by, I'd just grab a hammer and be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to take this over here or act like I'm doing something. Also, they have a thing where they want you to donate blood for stuff. And I wasn't able to donate blood. There's like a weight requirement for that.
Oh my gosh. Are we going to talk about weight again?
No.
Jaisy weighs like 4 pounds.
No, but we have someone here who is actually giving back to the community and not just acting like they are. They're actually doing it.
Putting in the hard work.
David Nicholson?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. You want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm David Nicholson. I lived in Texas for 12 years. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh.
I moved down here because it was too cold up there.
That's a good reason.
Well, I'm going to ask you right now, what do you call the hat that you're wearing?
Toboggan.
No, about to say if he's from up north, a toboggan is a sled. It's not a hat.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the only terms I know that involve cold is cold.
Oh, yeah.
So wind chill, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Snow.
School canceled, stuff like that. So toboggan, ice fishing, sledding, that really wasn't my
Wasn't your thing.
Shoveling, I did a lot of that. So
How long were you? You said Wisconsin?
Mm-hmm.
How long were you up there?
I moved when I was 22. So
okay. So most of your,
I was
you're
born
growing
there.
up. Okay.
Yeah, so
Is your family still there?
I have a lot of siblings there. I have 2 or 3 siblings here.
And you haven't seen them in 12 years because of the cold.
I go back and visit.
Like you come to me, it's warmer here.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit. So you're involved in the community. Some of that's paid, and some of that it sounds like you're doing some outreach. So tell us what you do, and then tell us a little bit about how you're giving back.
Okay, so I'm a Fort Worth police officer. Okay. I've been on the force for about almost 2 years now.
If any of y'all recognize him, shame on you.
Yeah.
Right. So as far as the community, I got into police work so I can work in the community and be the change that I wanted to see.
Okay.
I initially thought about being an officer when I was 19, and it took me about probably 12 years to get enough information to realize that, hey, now's the time. So I work a lot in the community. Over in Como on the west side. I have a organization called Use These Hands where
Use These Hands?
Mm-hmm, okay. I'm teaching kids that are from 8 to 17 basics in carpentry.
Awesome.
On how to use basic tools, drill, sander, nail gun. That's some of the tools we're using right now. And we're basically teaching them the skills to rebuild their community. Wow. And just take back their community. So our slogan is a community built by the kids, through the kids, and for the kids.
That's amazing. I was listening to a podcast
He's a
this
carpenter,
week.
by the way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm not really, I play with it. I have a little wood shop, but...
There's so many things I could say. Go ahead. You teed it up for me, but
I did.
I'm not going to hit it. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we have a background in common, too. I also come from police work. But I was listening to Mike Rowe this week's podcast, and it's a lady who's doing something similar to what you are, teaching girls how to work with wood and stuff like that. So that's why I think I did not know you had an organization like that in Fort Worth to teach people how to do that.
But I think hands-on is so cool too, because you get kids to open up. If you're just sitting there like, talk to me and tell me how, that kids don't respond to that. But if you get involved and you're working through something, you can
and you see projects and not a lot of people take the time to teach people how to do that. That's a lost art.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is we are teaching the kids a skill that they can carry throughout life, and to take care of the neighborhood they live in. But also the kids that are involved in the workshops, we pair a uniformed officer with each kid, and they help them in the project that we're doing so they can build that relationship with police officers.
That's awesome.
So instead of seeing the cops and saying, oh, there's a cop, I need to move around, or they're just here for times of crisis, they can say, you know what? An officer taught me how to put up drywall, or an officer taught me how to build this or build that, and they build that relationship. So that was one of the biggest parts of my workshop that I wanted to create it for, was that community engagement for other officers, because as busy as we are, it's hard to engage with the community sometimes, and it's not by default. But we want to show them that we're there for more than times of crisis.
Well, like you said, most of the time when an officer shows up, people are already scared or there's something going on, and so you start to associate that way, So talk a little bit about that. Why is that so important for the kids to see the officers in that light?
Well, just going back to a lot of kids don't know that we are there in times other than crisis. So we prefer for them to call on us, if they want to talk, if they just want us to come to school, if they want to vent. A lot of people don't know that. They just associate us with 911 and we're coming to arrest somebody.
Right.
But it's important to show them that, there's more facets to being an officer than just, arresting people and what they see on the news.
If I say news or TV or movies or whatever.
Because when something gets recorded, it reflects on all of us.
Right.
So the importance of them seeing us work with them one-on-one is just showing them that we're normal people.
Right.
That we come from all different backgrounds. We just don't come from the military or a family of law enforcement, but we come from different backgrounds, and we all have a different calling and reason why we become officers. And that's just one of the perks of being a part of a big department, is that there's so many avenues you can go.
That is so cool.
Is there some?
Oh, go ahead.
Is there something specific? I know that you said that you've been a police officer for two years, but you thought about it for a long time. Did something happen to make you want to, finally be like, okay, I need to do this? Or what has been your experience with that?
So I actually, I was going into fire first. I was going to be a firefighter. And in the midst of fire training, I went on a ride out with Grand Prairie. And we got into a chase, and we chased a guy from Grand Prairie to Mesquite, and they jumped out and ran after him. And right then and there, I was like,
I want to do this.
I want to chase people.
Yeah.
And I made up my mind. I went home and told my wife, I said, I'm going to be a police officer. She was like, are you really? And I was like, done. I'm going to be a police officer.
Yeah.
And I have a real hunger for action. And I don't
the
like
adrenaline.
Yeah, I don't like monotony.
Yeah, you could not do a desk job.
I've had so many jobs from 20 to up until I became an officer. And this has been the best job ever.
So
Awesome.
Talk to me a little bit about what the qualifications are to become a Fort Worth police officer.
So you have to be, by the time academy starts, you have to be 21. So you can apply at 20, but when academy starts, you have to be 21.
Do you still have to pass a polygraph test too?
Yeah, polygraph. There's a physical PAT that you take, clean background, high school diploma. I'm forgetting some, but those are like the core things that people ask about.
Was it hard to get into the academy? Or?
It is very competitive. It's hard to get in. The academy is hard, but it's worth it. And if you really want to do it, I think you should go through Fort Worth, because they will test you to see how bad you want it. Okay. And when you get that badge, it is like,
you've earned it.
And you really earned it.
Really is a badge of honor. Yeah.
It truly is a badge of honor. And I think every day I get dressed, I'm just thinking like, man, I earned every bit of a uniform that I'm wearing right now.
Yeah. That is awesome.
So talk about, his son's in the room, and you said he's how old?
6.
6. So talk about how your son feels about you being a police officer. Do you think he sees, like, is that something I would brag to my friends, I think, if I
It's like having a superhero that lives with you.
like, how cool is that?
Well, he's actually a superhero, so
Oh, there you go. That's
he
cute.
has a lot of different Miles Morales costumes and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
we don't want to get that twisted.
I love that.
But he thinks it's a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
So he's like he thinks I'm dressing up for Halloween. But I
Yeah.
think he's starting to grasp the concept because I have a take-home unit.
He's not going to like it as a teenager, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's
Can't do that. My dad's gonna say no.
I think he's very observant. So
sure.
he's starting to understand, like, oh, he is he's a police officer. you know?
Yeah.
So he doesn't think like I go and chase bad guys or do anything like that. I think he just sees that, like, oh,
Well, you're still dad, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just dad in the unit.
coming in the house with a gun, and he sees that, and he's like, oh wow, your gun. Or I'll let him look into my unit and stuff. But he really doesn't talk about it much.
Yeah.
He's just ready to play when I get home.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So go back to the charity or the involvement that you're involved in. Did you start that? Was that around?
No, I created that, and it stemmed from my dad. He wasn't able to. He grew up in Mississippi. He was born in Mississippi, and he didn't get a chance to go to high school because he had to help out, support the family. And one thing he told us is that as long as you have hands, you can make a living. You can do whatever you want as long as you have hands and feet. You're able-bodied, but use your hands. I remember him clearly telling me that.
Yeah.
And he worked so much that he wasn't able to really show me how to, to use my hands. But he would take me to work with him sometimes, and I would just watch him. So he worked 40 years in construction for the city of Milwaukee, and then he worked at an auto shop on the side.
So I want to make sure this isn't lost on folks. You've been an officer for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, not only in going through probation and because you guys have a probationary period when you're an officer, right? It goes 6 months to a year, something like that.
I was like, he was on probation. What did he do?
No.
It's like
I gotcha.
training phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to make sure he's not like going to shoot people.
Yeah.
But doing all that, then you come out and create a charity on top of that?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
That is amazing.
That's amazing, and I don't know that everybody picked up on that.
So what is something so if the community hears this and wants to get involved, what do you guys look for are you looking for supplies? Are you looking for tools, volunteers? What does that look like?
We really just need supplies. Home Depot, mainly the one off White Settlement Road off 820.
So like Home Depot gift card or something would be good? Okay.
That kind of stuff helps because we always need wood. Time. If anybody has the expertise that they want to bestow upon the kids, that's amazing.
Okay.
How many kids do y'all usually have that come and get involved in this?
Each workshop, we try to have a minimum of 10 kids, a maximum of like 14 to 15. So.
And how often do y'all do these workshops?
We're planning on doing it once a month.
Okay.
So the last one before this month, which is taking place on the 29th, the last one was in February, I think. And then we have them going on just throughout the whole year.
And do you have a shop that you go to, or?
Well, I have a storefront in Como, and it's located at 5335 Bonnell Avenue. We pretty much just work out of that.
Okay. So
I say because my husband, he used to be a trim carpenter, so he's definitely. I'll sign him up for something. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah,
I know Bill. Like I said, Bill's done a lot of woodworking too. That would be a cool way to give back. For sure.
It's and like I said, I'm kind of like YouTube University, so
Yeah,
That's the way.
yeah, being a homeowner, I've had to fix a lot of things in my house that I didn't know how to fix.
For sure.
But I've relied on YouTube, and now I'm showing the kids through that. So sometimes we're learning together.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're not doing it, but I just got a new tool that I don't know how to use.
Mm-hmm.
And so this weekend I'm off after this. The first weekend I've had off in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go sit down and watch YouTube to learn how to use my CNC machine. Because I've got this nice
What
piece
is
of equipment.
CNC?
It's a computer-generated carving machine. So I can put something in a PC, attach a piece of wood to the PC. So let's say I wanted to make a Fort Worth police badge. And it
Which
will
we're not recommending that you
Don't do
do.
that.
No,
Don't make it out of wood. No
But
one's
out of
gonna.
wood,
No one's
yeah.
gonna believe that that's a real badge. They don't give out
I
wooden
want to
badges.
do that for David so that he can give it to maybe his buddies that are working in it. So the badge with a name on it or
out of
whatever.
wood, that would be cool.
So they could it'll carve it in it. So once you make the design and get it set up, you can do multiples of these.
That's pretty
wow.
cool.
So I'm trying to learn how to use that. So I'm doing the same thing. So not to digress, but I'm using YouTube to learn how to do it because they sell you this machine, and the guy in the store said, "Oh, it's easy to do so long as." And I've had it for 2 months, and I can't figure out how to do anything with it.
It's there's a learning curve to a lot of these new digital electronic tools, because I have a kind of the same thing, but it's a manual carving machine, engraving machine. And I'm like, whoa, this is, I don't know if we're going to be able to use our hands on this one.
Well, I'm going to figure it out,
Yeah.
and I bet you'll figure yours out.
Oh, yeah, I got to, because I told them we're going to do it. So
Yeah.
I ain't got to
You made a
Once
promise.
you-
Now you got to do it.
once
Now
you
you got to
tell a
figure it
kid
out.
that,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When I got to 60, my wife said, "Hey, I got to get you a new saw." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I got to get you a saw that's not going to cut your fingers off." So she bought me a saw stop. Which
Have
I've-
y'all seen the new technology that the if anything is in the way of the wood, it completely.
That's what the saw stop is, and
It's crazy.
If you put your finger in there, it won't even cut it.
Yeah,
it stops
I
automatically.
saw a guy online and they were testing it out, but he put a hot dog on,
Yeah.
which was kind of funny. He put a hot dog on the piece of wood, and I mean, it literally got like, I mean, I don't even know how close, but it was crazy, and but nothing was.
But we're not going to test it because it's
No.
$180 to replace the cartridge.
Oh gosh.
So I bought an extra cartridge just in case I do screw up, but $180.
He's gonna be like, "Hey guys, Bill's here." So, are there other cities doing things like this? Is that something you've talked to other cities about doing, or is that are you aware?
I've had some officers reach out about it.
I mean, that's all. I think that's
Yeah,
such a great
it's
idea.
just in Como. You can bring it to so many different
Yeah,
communities.
and we're trying to get it on each side of town in Fort Worth.
Gotcha.
And then hopefully maybe, we can go to the next sister city, Arlington, or Joshua, Crowley, whatever.
Awesome.
This sounds like something that, I don't know if you listen to Mike Rowe or not, but he's big in teaching people the trades. This sounds like something that he might want to know about and might.
That would be cool.
Yeah, is he a podcaster?
He is.
Okay.
He used to do Dirty Jobs. He used to do that show. He's
He
got
still does
the
do
radio
Dirty
voice,
Jobs, but-
does he?
But I listen to his podcast every Tuesday, and it's just amazing that this week's was exactly on what you're talking about, just on a lady that's doing camps with girls.
That's cool.
And I'd never heard of an officer doing this. This is so cool.
But that knowledge and that skill, it builds confidence. It builds,
Exactly.
and it's I know when I learn something new, it's just an exciting feeling. And doing something like that where you can build something or create something, there's so much that it does to your character.
Yeah, it's like you did that.
Exactly.
It's such a good outlet as well. I feel like whenever I'm creative and writing or doing some sort of art piece or something like that, it's such a good outlet for feelings or just to clear my mind. It's such a good thing. So it's something for kids to be able to do and learn how to do instead of, millions of other things that they could be doing.
Do y'all work on houses in the community? Have y'all started that
So
part
we,
yet? Or?
we actually just landed our first project. There was a lady she's rebuilding her studio apartments, and we found the guy who does carpentry, and we're going to install the windows and doorknobs.
Awesome.
And then one of the kids in the program, he's actually, today we just got confirmation from her that he'll be allowed to cut the grass and be compensated for it. So
Nice.
this is like a big step for
the
using his hands,
program,
because now it's like, okay, this kid is, I think he's 14. And that's right around the same time I started cutting grass. So I'm going to mentor him and make sure he has everything that I didn't have when I started.
Sure.
So now he can see like, hey, this work's going to reflect you.
For sure.
That's
So
awesome.
do it perfect to a T, and we'll continue to build on it.
I love that so much because you're teaching them so much more than the skill. Like we said, you're teaching them more than you'll ever know.
Yeah.
More than you'll ever know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, so you said to support you guys, Home Depot gift cards would be great. Do you guys have a website or any community page or Facebook page or anything?
I'm in the process of building a website.
Okay.
And I'm trying to turn it into a nonprofit as well. So
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the process of building everything up.
Perfect. So if anyone wants to donate their time and help David build a website or help him get his 501 or donate gift cards, reach out to us. We can connect you guys. But I mean, that's really what it's about. A lot of people say, I want my community to be better, but then they don't do anything. This is your chance.
Yeah.
Or they complain about their community not getting better and they're not doing anything to make it better.
Let's get kids
I just say that.
off of their phones.
Did I just?
active.
I literally just said that. Jason.
Hey, sometimes you got to reiterate it. I mean, honestly,
I looked at Tom like, wait, that sounded like an echo.
I almost repeated it.
Yeah.
You got to get the point
Or
across.
like your community's not doing anything, and so you got to do something, right? I'm just kidding.
If you guys didn't hear, if you're complaining about your community and you're not doing anything,
Yeah, that's a problem.
Come on, guys.
So we have a little segment that we like to call.
Tales from the Lockbox.
And Jaisy's got a story, Bill has a story to share, but we want you to be thinking too. If you have a funny story to share, especially, being a police officer, I'm sure you see all kinds of crazy stuff. If you have something you want and can share, we'll go to you after Bill.
Well, and this one has absolutely nothing to do with woodwork, the community, or police work. But when I read it, and you'll see why in a minute, I thought this is worthwhile talking about. So this is an oops moment, and I know I get to speak a little bit on occasion. I always like the audience to laugh, right? That's one of the first things I want them to do. So there was this lady who was speaking. Her name's Bobby White. Her hair is white also.
Okay.
So she's speaking in St. Louis, and the MC introduced her this way. Let me give a warm welcome to Bobby Whitehair.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah way. So the audience absolutely roared. That is until they realized the MC's embarrassment and that they thought she may have been offended.
Did her husband go up and slap him and say,
No,
my wife's name?
No,
Your mouth.
it wasn't a Will Smith moment, but the MC's face turned about 50 shades of white.
Oh my gosh.
And he poor guy, he gets all kinds of embarrassed, right? But she's laughing hysterically. So it was a moment of taking something that was bad, and instead of reacting in a bad way, laughed it off, had a good time with it.
That's like that whole mole, like when what was that, Austin Powers, where the guy had the big mole and he was trying everything he could do not to say something about
Yeah, or anytime I get up and say certain words. So what can I
Bill
say?
has to struggle. Yes.
Yeah, well, that
Library.
gives me character.
Yes.
Speaking of library, go ahead and level up for us.
No, we're
No,
going to
I
see if
think it's
David,
fair.
Oh,
did you
that's
have
right.
a,
That's
did you
right.
have a story to share?
Yeah, I got a pretty funny story. And this one I was working on the east side on Lancaster. I think it was about like 2 a.m, and we got a loose livestock call. So I'm thinking like, maybe it's a dog in the street. I was thinking a dog.
Livestock.
We just a lot of strays. So I'm like, okay, somebody doesn't want a dog to get hit. That's cool. So I read the details and it says a horse. So I'm like, what you want me to do? I'm thinking like, and I'm closest to it. So I'm like, all right, well, shoot, send me the call. Yeah. And I'm like, hopefully it's just like a little horse or something.
Yeah, a little pony.
There is no little horse.
I mean,
I love it.
Being from Wisconsin, I'm used to squirrels, dogs, cats.
Yeah.
That's it. So they didn't train us on how to deal with loose livestock.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call. So I'm driving. I'm like, shoot, I don't see a horse. Good, it's gone. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I see this big. I was a good 6 blocks away, and I'm like, that still looks big from here. So I see it, and I'm like, I see the horse, and I need some units.
Yeah.
So I start following the horse, and the closer I get, I'm like, this horse is huge.
Yeah.
So it runs through some.
And it's not saddled or reined or anything.
No, it's just free.
You can't even hold on to it.
No, I wasn't going to hold on to it. So I see it running around. Finally, we get some other officers, and we, after it runs through people's neighborhoods and slips in the street and all that sort of stuff.
Neighborhood.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
So we corner it with our units, and we got some country officer. He shows up with
Lasso
and a milk carton of like rocks or corn or something, and he shakes it and it calms the horse down. And he's like, yeah, anytime there's
a horse whisperer.
Yeah. So he's like, anytime there's a horse loose,
call Billy Bob. There's another horse out.
And we fed it apples and stuff like that. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, I just remember seeing the horse, and I got close to it, and the top of his back was like above my head. So I'm like, I called my sergeant. I said,
I'm gonna need backup.
I said, it's a loose horse, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
every day is different, I'm sure.
Yeah. So and that's a true statement. So we, of course, my team, they helped me out. I was super thankful for that, because I genuinely was like, I guess I'm just gonna drive around following this horse.
He's gonna act like I'm doing something.
Yeah. And,
I know what to do.
But luckily, that guy knew exactly what to do.
Do you keep like a gallon of corn now in your car just to use in your patrol car?
I keep dog treats and some rocks.
Oh, dog! I bet y'all run into dogs all the time.
Oh yeah.
We get a lot of strays, and I try to shoot them with bone or whatnot.
I thought you were trying to shoot them.
Oh, my bad.
Oh no.
No, I try to feed them a bone.
There we go.
But because I'm not scared of dogs. I'm just not a dog guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
Well, and you don't know. Everyone's like, "Oh, my dog doesn't bite." Well, he doesn't until he does.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like,
Once
I'd be the
he
first
does,
one.
it's too late.
Exactly.
And then this dog loving culture, I try to be respectful of people's feelings for dogs, but I have
Just not a big
if it's a stray.
We better level
Just
up
shoot it.
before
We
we
just
shoot
shoot
the dogs, Sarah.
Somebody has to have confidence.
Cleaning up the neighborhood one dog at a time.
All right,
Yeah.
so I read this online earlier and I really loved it. It was talking about there was these big elephants and they were tied with a rope around their leg into a stick, and one leg and a small rope, but the elephants were not moving. And they said, how do you keep the elephants? Because clearly they could rip it out of the ground. They said, well, we start when they're little, and that same size rope will hold them, but then they become accustomed to that they're trapped. And so the idea is, don't believe that you are what you've always been, and don't fall into the trap of it's impossible because I've never done it before. So my challenge to you guys is to break the rope while you're young. Get out there, try something new. Don't think anything is impossible.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for being here, Mr.
Yes.
David.
Yeah, you
This was
bet.
It was
fantastic.
so great.
Yes.
meeting
Y'all
you
reach
and
out.
hearing
Let us know if
everything.
you can help, and we out.
Bye.
Just had a chat, talk this and that with PB